Well, welcome, folks. Emily and I are here together to give you a little bit of introduction to the Threshold Lab, tell you a little bit more about where it came from and what we're hoping it will offer to you as part of our community. And at the end of my presentation here, I'll turn it over to Emily to talk you through the actual site itself. But for now, let me just spend a few minutes and talk a bit about kind of what the purpose of this lab is. So I wanted to start with the mission. So I'm going to let you read this for yourself, and then I want to make a few comments. So the lab basically is the sort of the resource that we're going to put front and center to fulfill the mission of the Institute. It'll be where we move our programming. It'll be where we move our events, to create this collaborative space to fulfill the mission of the Institute. And for me, it's just really exciting, not only just in terms of a way to support the development of you as a practitioner, but also to find ways to serve the world in some new ways. And then and we know as we've moved through these last few years that many of you have participated in what we're doing in a variety of formats. And you're often asking, what's next and where can I go? Well, this will be an opportunity for you to have an ongoing experience and engagement with the Institute that will serve you in terms of where you are in your journey. And so the vision we have basically is that we're going to create a space in the lab to continuously reconvene and re-engage with each other, which is one of the things you all most enjoy, is actually time with each other. To develop yourself, to evolve the ways in which we're all working for a new world, and then also to develop projects and programs and more to actually transform the systems in which we operate. So one of the big pieces of the lab, and why it's called a lab and not something else, is it's not just about developing ourselves, it's deepening our relationships, reimagining our very practices, and using this work to actually make a difference in the systems in which we operate, whether it's a university, a community, an organization, or maybe even in our own family. And so as part of that, we've got some aspirations for the lab. We're very cognizant of what it takes to build a healthy organic community. So we're going to take the first 90 days to kind of vet our design. We'll use ID on ourselves to look at your user experience, observe what we sense is going on, and begin a process of making continuous improvements, both in the design of the lab, but also the Circle platform upon which the lab is hosted. Within about 6 months, which is the length of our pilot here, we expect to have 50 or more of you involved in this journey with us. And so we know that there's a lot of people who want to do more with us, but don't really want to take another program. So we expect that this will grow fairly quickly. And that at the end of our first year, not only are we going to be growing the lab itself, but reimagining what's possible through a global learning community that moves away from an expert focus, a program focus, to really make the learning community the very essence of what the Institute stands for through the lab. And then at the end of 3 years, we have a very audacious aspiration, recognizing that a lot of what attracted many of you to come to work with us in the beginning was you wanted something that was different. You wanted something that wasn't the same old, because you recognize that the world that we're in now is asking us each to become more than we thought possible, more than we have done in the past. And so at the end of 3 years, we hope that we'll make a significant contribution to redefine what personal and professional development even looks like. And will be a model for others to follow. So who is this lab for? So a lot of it was taken the feedback we've gained over these last couple of years about what needs you all had. And I want to just take a second to thank 4 people in particular who, as Aussies would say, to give a shout out to them, who helped us to get where we are. So Stephanie Hardman did some initial research for us on best practices, came up with this idea of a piazza, which we thought was great and has been sort of in the center of our thinking about the need to bring everybody together into a central space. Fauqueline was a fierce and dedicated advocate for community, did an enormous amount of research and thinking and jousting with me and with us to really challenge us to think about what a learning community could be. And that really high vision that she held for us, we feel like we're finally taking some really wonderful steps towards. Luann did Barnes did some really great work with us around thinking about affiliates and how could community members support each other. And so I want to just thank Luann. And then Suzanne, or as we knew her, Max, was also a great advocate for community, helped start some of the original small group communities in the MI. And so I just want to give a shout out to these four for kind of holding the torch for us as we found our way to finally launch the lab we've long dreamed of. And so it's a way for students, graduates, interested parties to come. And what we're inviting these various folks to do is to continue the conversations, the relationships, and the approaches that have been catalyzed by the work we do at MI. And will be a wonderful and much richer opportunity and avenue for you to bring friends and colleagues. We know, I know for myself, having given a number of speeches over these last few months and having a couple of big WBEX Summit events coming up soon, that a lot of people are hungry for something else. And so we think the invitation is going to be appealing to a lot of people, even that come to us from outside of MI, but who are very attracted to what we're offering, who we are, and what we stand for. And so this is a way for you to continue that learning and development in a very organic and sort of self-directed way. So what does the lab offer? Well, it offers a lot of things, but these are 6 of the highlights that stand out for me. I'm gonna let you read this here for a minute, but these are some of the essential elements that you'll receive as part of the lab. And there'll be some really wonderful opportunities in June for you to come and ask more about this. So we just created 3 sort of ways of thinking about kind of what's happening in the lab. It's going to occur every Monday for 90 minutes at our usual time slots in the morning and afternoon. And give you a chance to connect with each other in some really innovative ways, because a lot of what happens on any given Monday will be organized around some themes that we offer, but the small groups, for example, will be co-created by you all, by who shows up, who wants to work on what, who wants to focus on what. And there'll be still some amazing things that come out of that as we grow over time. There's some scaffolding that we'll provide through Circle as well as through Kajabi and beyond to kind of help you connect in those ways and get the most out of your Monday sessions. And then some avenues for you to contribute and implement based on what you've discovered and developed on that Monday, either with other collaborators on behalf of the Institute, on behalf of your own business. And so this is a way of making all of it we have available to you so that you can start to take this forward in deeper and richer ways. We're working with the narrative coaching team to begin to look at some ongoing peer support process. We're looking at a variety of things to support you to make the most out of this time in the lab, to begin to pass the baton on to each of you to take this work forward in the world. All right, and so this is a sort of a rough sort of a breakout of, if you will, no pun intended, about what each session on Mondays would include. A chance to kind of get ourselves oriented and welcomed, a chance to just spend about 10 minutes on what is our topic or our focus for the day. That will be provided by me or the host or a guest. And then this is where, again, there will be some opportunities for you to find, create breakouts to serve your specific need for the day. Like, so maybe you've got a really great opportunity with a client and you say, hey, I want to I'm trying to put together a proposal in an ID-like way. Like, how do I do that? You might pull some people together to help you think that through, and they're going to benefit from that as well. Or maybe you said, I really need to get better about being patient and learning to be okay with radical presence. Can I gather some folks, or can I find some folks who want to practice that with me? And so again, you'll be able to meet the needs that are important to you. And at the very end, we're have some time for reflections, sharing, and requests. This is a way of beginning to integrate, bring closure. And then what's not on the slide is we'll spend 10 or 15 minutes at the end of every Monday session for people that have come to it as a guest. So we'll stay on to answer any questions, tell them what they could do next. And it's just a great way to continue our welcome to people that would like to come and be a part of what we're doing. So for now, I'm going to stop sharing here, and I'm going to turn this over to Emily, who's going to share her screen and spend some time walking through what Circle looks like for us and the beginnings of the lab.
All right, so welcome to Circle, everyone. This is the platform where we will be, leveraging the space, the tools, the functionalities to launch the Threshold Lab. So it might look a little familiar in terms of the interface. It functions very similarly to a private Facebook group, but here it's clean of all ads or any kind of distraction, and this community is truly ours. So there are some things that I want to help showcase here in the beginning, just to highlight many of the full features and functions that you're going to get to enjoy as part of the Threshold Lab. As we enter into the interface here, you can see that I'm on the Home tab. This is where all of the posts in the community will show up. As a user, I can organize these according to my liking. So I can check out the latest ones, the oldest posts, the most popular, are the ones that have been getting the most interaction or like. When we look down into this section here where it says the Threshold Lab, here's where we can go into individual threads or individual spaces where the content is curated. So under discussions, this would just be a place where we can generally share, post an idea, ask a question. We can comment on each other's posts and continue to provide support, feedback, and value. The live sessions acts very similar to a calendar space. So here is where you will see all of the live sessions that we have planned. As David mentioned, these are going to be happening every Monday, once in the morning and once in the afternoon, 10 a.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And you have the ability to RSVP and go ahead and place that onto your calendar. So if I click into here, you'll see that it's going to provide me quite a bit of information about the upcoming session, such as the time, the place, the location. One of the fun and what I think is a very streamlined feature of the lab is that this Zoom link will not change. And so every week you won't spend any time trying to find out what the link is for today. Do you have the right one for the morning or the evening? It's going to stay consistent, which is going to add a little bit of ease to the process of knowing that you can get to where you want to be. There's going to be a little bit of information provided about each session. So David went over this a little bit with what he shared, but kind of the agenda or the breakout of the time, and then also that we will be providing ample Q&A time at the tail end of that 90 minutes for any guests or any friends that were brought along to enjoy the time here in the session. We've gone ahead and broken out a couple of other threads, such as resources. So here is where we will be able to share materials, to be able to share the decks for any of the presentations, any videos that are created, all of which can be shared and will be shared here in the resource section. So this will become a rich library of resources. When we record archives of each session, all of those will be housed in this resource area as well. The bulletin board is the idea of a space where you can post a request, or if you have something that you're offering the community, to go ahead and share it here. And the cool thing about all of these individual threads, it's a way for us to organize this information, but that all of this stuff will be fed and curated back into this home tab. So there's just a lot of unique ways that you can organize and experience the content in the lab that will really be designed around your preferences and how you like and want to consume what is shared here. There will be an area where you can go and see all of the members who are part of the lab. As we grow, we can add tags and distinctions to each of these profiles. So if we want to share who was a narrative coaching program graduate or an ID program graduate, here's where we could go ahead and make that distinction. So, perhaps you can find more friends or colleagues who are interested in similar or studying or practicing in similar areas as you. And so, as David mentioned, the lab offers a really wonderful convening space for all of us to continue the relationships and the conversations and to ask the question, what next? What else, can we do together with this work, with ourselves, with the practice? So I am going to be the point person on all things circle related. So if any questions come up in and around the platform, I'd be happy to address them with specificity. And if I find that there is a question that comes up quite a bit, I'm going to be creating some FAQs to go along, with the onboarding to this area, just to make sure that everybody feels comfortable and that they can navigate and find whatever it is that they're looking for.
So now that you've had a chance to just get a brief tour of Circle and hear a bit about our vision and the mission of the lab, I want to invite you to a really special event. So we're having a launch party for the lab on June 6th at our usual times at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern time. And it's free, a chance to come. You can register if you, and it's a chance to come and see it for yourself, ask your questions, test out if this is the right space for you to be in and see what it could offer you. And it's just going to be a really festive and fun tour of the site itself, more details about our vision for it and where we hope it will go. And so there's an opportunity to register on the website, and we hope that you'll come and join us. If you have colleagues that you've been raving about our work with and they're curious, invite them to come along. They can sit in with you and learn more about what we're doing. And we feel like not only are we continuing to offer pioneering work in the world, but now we're going to double that by offering a pioneering platform to give you a chance to actually be self-directed more and more and collaborate more and more around this work. And so we're just really excited, and we'll hope you'll come and join us on June 6th.